Originally called Armistice Day, the day was established as a tribute to the Americans who had sacrificed with their lives during World War I, a war designed to end all wars. Well, we know that wasn't going to be the case. We know the holiday now as Veterans Day, and it encompasses all veterans that have served this great nation and are key to defending our democracy. We honor all of our veterans because without them, we would not be the land of the free. Without our veterans, back as early as the American Revolution, there would be no United States of America, and we would still probably be under the throes of Great Britain. Without our veterans during the Civil War, there would be no end to slavery and no strength of a united America. Without our veterans of World War II, we might be living in a country and world where freedom of choice and the right to vote no longer exist. Without our veterans of Korea, Vietnam, the global war on terrorism, we would certainly live in fear and the potential spread of communism and the evil from entities that want to see the demise of the United States of America, usually referring to the United States as the Great Satan. All of our veterans have protected our democracy and our freedoms, our way of life. So today, we simply honor you and thank you. Sadly, I need to report to you this evening that our veteran population, both in the town and across the country, is aging, and we have less in numbers as we've had in the past. Recently, I can speak very clearly to the Berlin Post VFW, VFW Post 10732. We've gone from almost 250 members down to under 100. So a lot of our great warriors that were participants in World War II and Korea are no longer with us. And much the same with the American Legion. And Vin, I know you can attest to that. It's very difficult to get members into the fold. So this is a way to reach out and say this evening, if you're not a member of either the VFW Post or the American Legion Post 68, we'd like to encourage you to think about joining and becoming a member of either organization or both. We certainly would appreciate the support, and it's a way of linking and uniting the veterans within the community and looking out for one another. And I think we do a good job of protecting everybody's sick, so I'd like to encourage that. The other thing I'd like to mention to you is that on November 20th, there's going to be an open house at the American Legion Post 68 from 12 to 4 on November 20th. And you noticed that they had the fund drive going, and you saw the red keep on increasing on the dollars that have been committed to the American Legion Post 68. Thus far, they put a new roof on, and they're getting ready to do a lot of renovations within the building which are needed. And so we're thankful for all the contributions and the generosity, and like to show you the way that post is going to look in the future. So they'll have drawings, refreshments, and renderings of what that post is going to look like. Dear veteran, on Veterans Day and every day, we are grateful for your service and sacrifice. Know that your commitment to our country, the freedoms, and the way of life are remembered and valued. We thank you for your service. Without our veterans, we wouldn't be where we are today, nor reach new heights for tomorrow. Thank you for honoring our veterans today. May God bless you, our veterans, in the United States of America. Thank you very much.
you, Mr. Parsons, for your continued support and partnership. At this time, we would like to invite Mayor Mark Kaczynski to present a proclamation.
Thank you. Certainly my pleasure to be here tonight. It's always a great evening to honor our vets. And before I read the proclamation, I'm just looking at the cover of our program here, and it's talking about remembering our history. And nothing better than an event like this to teach our young folks the history and honor our vets. And the other thing in Berlin, we're so lucky to have, certainly it's a great community and it's a great veterans community, and our Veterans Commission does a wonderful job, and we've got the Veterans Park. Obviously you're all, I'm sure, familiar with it by Stop and Shop there. It's only gotten better over the years. It's really probably second to none in the state and maybe even in the country, honestly. The Veterans Commission, town employees that help maintain it, if you take a walk through it, it's a walk through history of our veterans and of our various conflicts. So just a little plug for that, not that it needs one. And this year, of course, we added, another honor, the Gold Star Memorial, which is, only one is located in Connecticut, and they chose the Berlin Veterans Park. So we're all very honored for that. There's typically one in each state. I don't know if there's one in every state now, close to it. But very honored to have added that to our Veterans Park, which will make it quite the destination that it already is. But we'll have more folks visiting our town. So it's a wonderful memorial to our veterans. So with that, I will go ahead and read the proclamation. On behalf of the town of Berlin, proclamation. Each year, we pause to remember the men and women who have served selflessly in America's armed forces, sacrificing a great deal, including those who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom and democracy. As veterans, they deserve the respect and appreciation of all of our citizens. Citizens of the town of Berlin are encouraged to honor our servicemen and women, including those listed as missing in action or prisoners of war, and to remember those who have lost their lives in service to our country. So on Veterans Day, we publicly salute these sacrifices by providing programs to pay tribute to our military, such as tonight, our military veterans, for all that they have done and continue to do to make the world a better and a safer place. So today, myself, Mayor of Berlin, officially proclaim November 11th, 2022 as Veterans Remembrance Day in the town of Berlin. Thank you very much for your service. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kaczynski. The Berlin High School Chorus will now perform America the Beautiful.
America, secret dream that sees beyond the years. Thine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by human tears. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. From sea to shining sea. America, America, America. Oh, beautiful America.
Can we please have the McGee Middle School Patriot Pen students come forward? Conducted nationwide, this VFW-sponsored youth essay competition gives students an opportunity to write essays expressing their views on an annual patriotic theme. More than 84,000 students participated last year in this contest. This year's theme is My Pledge to Our Veterans.
Veterans can be described in many words: fearless, noble, selfless, determined, heroic. Any veteran you meet will possess these traits in some fashion, which is why we dedicate time to them for appreciation and remembrance. I would like to acknowledge some reasons for our gratitude here today. One way that we can display appreciation for veterans is by ensuring that both minor and major records of our country's battles remain relevant and memorialized. This can be done by sharing awe-inspiring tales from times of war with friends and family, on social media, or with vets that you know. For example, one story I share often is from my grandfather, who served as a tank operator in World War II. One story he shared with my family was that one morning when he was meant to leave in his tank, his lieutenant pulled him out and held him as a reserve. My grandfather was held back because he was one of the few men in camp that was not ill. He stayed behind in the base, watching his fellow soldiers and replacement drive off. Minutes later, the tank drove over a landmine and exploded, killing all of the soldiers inside. This tragedy regularly reminds me of how fragile life is. I would not be here today if other events had transpired. It makes me realize just how much danger military personnel put themselves in every day. Although my grandfather is no longer with us, I remember him frequently with this story. We honor veterans to thank them for their heroism. They risk their lives to keep us safe at home, and we should not take that for granted. Despite the individual roles they play, military veterans work as a team to keep us safe. From fighter pilots to cooks and doctors, all veterans share a common goal: to defend our nation at all costs. Veterans also follow a code that they live and serve by. It instructs service members to do whatever they need to keep American ideals alive. One such ideal is the American dream, which others use to define our country. It is, at its core, the purpose of our nation: to provide all citizens with an equal and fair opportunity to achieve greatness. Instead of owning a business or rising to fame, veterans have the dream that triumphs all: to protect our dreams. Thank you.
What does it mean to be a patriot? According to the Oxford Dictionary, patriotism is devotion to and vigorous support for one's country. Veterans demonstrate patriotic values every single day, either in our country or in foreign countries. It is my responsibility to support them, respect their commitment and sacrifice to our country, and to show my appreciation for all they have done and continue to do to keep us free. Supporting veterans is a commitment every American should make. There are many ways I can do that. For example, our local veterans often have pancake breakfasts and spaghetti suppers to raise funds and awareness of their sacrifices. Attending these events on a regular basis would show my support and appreciation for all that they have sacrificed for me. Also, veterans proudly march in holiday parades that my friends and I could attend. Pledging my commitment to support the veterans is very important to me. Veterans need our respect. Respecting veterans is necessary. When I see a veteran, I wonder what they have sacrificed for me and my freedom. I wonder what wars they have fought in. I wonder if they've lost friends or family members. I wonder if they know for protecting our democracy. Sometimes I feel guilty for remaining quiet when I should be thanking them for their service. In the future, my pledge is to speak up and thank them. It is important to respect and appreciate all they have done to support our rights and our Constitution. Appreciating veterans is important. They need to know that we are thankful for their service. My family has had many veterans who have served as officers in World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam conflict. Do I appreciate all they have sacrificed? Yes. I wish they were here so I could tell them. On the days where I say I hate school, I am going to try to remember all they have sacrificed so I can go to school. In conclusion, veterans pledge a commitment to keeping our country safe and protecting our democracy. Likewise, every American citizen should make the same commitment to support, respect, and appreciate their efforts. In a world where there's much hatred and loss of hope, I pledge to be a better citizen by supporting our veterans who have given us so much. Thank you for your service.
Thank you to all of the McGee students for sharing with us how we can all be good Americans and show our appreciation for veterans.
We would now like you to enjoy a video presentation prepared by students and staff at Berlin High School.
My name is Sean Solik, and I served in the Army from 2001 until 2007.
Christopher Griffin, and I served in the United States Marine Corps from 1998 to 2002.
Hello, my name is Jesse Eady, and I served in the Army for about 6.5 years, different duty stations, mostly in Fort Stewart, Georgia, and I also did a National Guard stint in Arizona. During my time in service, I was a tank mechanic / recovery mechanic, and I did 2 tours in Iraq from 2003 to 2004 and then 2005 to 2006. Each time was exciting and different. I came back from the second time in Iraq with a Bronze Star and 2 Purple Hearts.
It's important to remember all the veterans that came before us and the sacrifices most of them made in order for us to observe the freedoms that we do today.
I believe Veterans Day is important just to remember and show appreciation for all that served the military. It was important to me before I was even in the military, and I think it continues to be important for every generation to know all the men and women that serve to protect our country.
My experience in the military was probably more than I thought it would ever be. I had always wanted to be in the military. I wasn't sure exactly what branch or why, but my family is all prior military. I hope my children join as well. But it trained me and taught me how to get to the places I want to be. So really thankful I was in.
It opened my eyes a lot to the broader world. I was 20 years old when I joined the military, and through the 6 years I was there, I traveled the world and saw many different countries and got to see that not everywhere is like the United States of America, and that was really eye-opening for me.
Working together as a cohesive group, all sorts of backgrounds, colors, races, religions. In the infantry, you didn't have a choice. You all got along, you watched each other's back, and they were your brothers. It's made me appreciate a lot of the things I have, I guess. Being around the world and see how other people live and what they've gone through. Appreciate what we have here at home.
I think the military taught me a lot of responsibility and discipline that I carry with me in every aspect of my life, from my job as a lieutenant with the Berlin Police Department to coaching youth sports to just how I deal with people in general. Accountability and taking pride in your work are some of the important aspects that I took with me.
I would say it's got at least to do with like 60% of who I see myself as. The things I learned in the military, no one could ever pay for. I've been through a master's education, I've been through an automotive education, I've had a career working as a civilian, and all of those things, none of those add up to my experience in the military.
I think it's just important to know that all veterans appreciate people recognizing them. Some don't like to show that they appreciate it, but they do. Some veterans are just more private and don't want to talk about their experiences than others, but it is important for all veterans to be recognized, and it's definitely appreciated.
I think just always remember the sacrifices that were made, that here in the United States we have the largest all-volunteer military in the world, and no one was forced to do what so many have done and sacrificed for. They did it for love of their country, their neighbors, their family at home, so we can continue to enjoy the life that we've been living and that we have today.
I hope they keep in mind their potential position in Veterans Day, as in what they might be able to contribute to veterans, or what they might be able to contribute to the narrative of our nation in the future as potentially joining. Because it is not, joining the military isn't like a fail-safe, and it's not something that's less than anything else. It's something different. One thing I always like to point to is women. Women in the military. I served with a lot of female veterans. I served with female veterans that fixed tanks and Humvees. They were tough. And then I've also seen women out in the field lock and loading 50 cals. So, and that's a really big machine gun, by the way, and it takes a lot of power to do it. So women are awesome in the military too.
So one person who has influenced my life who served in the military was my dad's uncle, Robert Dornfried. He served in the Korean War. He earned a Bronze Star over there, and also a United Nations award. He greatly impacted my life in many ways. He was essentially like a mentor to me. He always gave me good advice as to how to complete tasks, and I don't think I would be where I am today without his help and motivation.
For my entire life, my dad has been in the Navy. He's currently a commander, and it's just been amazing my entire life seeing all that he dedicates to this cause. I've watched him spend hours on assignments. I've seen him give out commands to his Legion. I've seen him work with people. He's gone overseas to help run things, and it's just amazing what he does to help our country run. I'm so proud of him for all that he has given, for the sacrifices he's made, the time he's put into this, and it's so admirable.
I would like to thank them for their service and everything they did for our country and fighting for our freedom. I would also like them to know that we all appreciate you very much, and this day is here to recognize you and all that you've done for us.
I would like to say thank you for all of your service, and this day is greatly appreciated for the veterans that have served in the military as well as currently serving.
We will now share 3 reading passages that all connect to this year's theme of honor. I will start with reading a poem written by Joanna Fuchs entitled The Best on Earth, a Veterans Day Tribute. If someone has done military service, they earn the title veteran and more. They earn our deep respect and admiration that they are special, no one can ignore. They sacrifice the comforts we enjoy. The list is long of all the things they give. Our veterans are extraordinary people. They're loyal, dedicated, true, and brave. When terror and invasion were real threats, they showed us that they could handle any storm. We owe our freedoms and our very lives to our veterans who served in uniform. Our veterans should be celebrities. They're exceptional. No other group compares. We're grateful for the many things that they've done. They're always in our hearts and in our prayers. We owe our veterans our support and friendship. Let no one ever question what they're worth. These men and women served us and our country. Our veterans, the very best on earth.
I will read the second passage that describes the history of the Medal of Honor. Early in the Civil War, a medal for individual valor was proposed to General-in-Chief of the Army, Winfield Scott. But Scott felt medals smacked off European affectation and killed the idea. The medal found support in the Navy, however, where it was felt recognition of courage in strife was needed. Public Resolution 82, containing a provision for a Navy Medal of Valor, was signed into law by President Abraham Lincoln on December 21, 1861. The medal was to be bestowed upon such petty officers, seamen, landsmen, and Marines as shall most distinguish themselves by their gallantry and other seaman-like qualities during the present war. Shortly after this, a resolution similar in wording was introduced on behalf of the Army. Signed into law July 12, 1862, the measure provided for awarding a Medal of Honor to such non-commissioned officers and privates as shall most distinguish themselves by their gallantry in action and other soldier-like qualities during the present insurrection. Although it was created for the Civil War, Congress made the Medal of Honor a permanent decoration in 1863. Since then, the President, in the name of Congress, has awarded more than 3,400 medals of honor to our nation's bravest soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen since the decoration's creation in 1861.
This last passage is an account that is taken from an article that appeared in the Hartford Courant on August 22nd, 2018. 16 years after dying on a mountaintop, battling al-Qaeda terrorists alone after his comrades left him for dead, Air Force Technical Sergeant John Chapman, a graduate of Windsor Locks High School, was honored posthumously with the nation's highest award for bravery, the Medal of Honor. Chapman is the first Air Force member to receive the Medal for Action since the Vietnam War. His award comes long after the fatal firefight and was based partially on drone footage and new video analysis technology that showed he fought on even after his fellow troops pulled out, leaving him behind because they thought he was dead. Chapman was a combat controller for the famous SEAL Team 6, which later killed Osama bin Laden, when they flew into an ambush on top of Takur Ghar mountain in Afghanistan, and their helicopter was hit by a rocket-propelled grenade. SEAL Neil Roberts, a Navy petty officer first class, fell from the aircraft after it took fire, and Chapman and the remaining Joint Special Operations Team members returned to the snow-capped mountain in an attempt to rescue their stranded teammate. Chapman charged through thigh-deep snow with a machine gun fire coming from 3 directions, seized an enemy bunker, and killed terrorists there. He was severely wounded trying to get a machine gun that was targeting his teammates. Chapman was unconscious, and his teammates thought that he was dead and evacuated without him. 6 other men, including Roberts, died that day, March 4th, 2002. Every single man on that hill made the best decision he could, said now Lieutenant Colonel R.Z. Rodriguez, Chapman's commander in the 24th Special Tactics Squadron. Chapman was awarded a posthumous Air Force Cross in 2002 for his heroism. But new footage and new technology that allowed military officials to pore through hundreds of hours of tapes from drones and other aircraft brought to light an epilogue to Chapman's story worthy of a movie plot. Chapman was not dead, but fought on for himself for an hour before dying. When another helicopter of troops arrived, according to Rodriguez, Chapman could have sighed in relief, but instead he came out from cover to protect them. Chapman's attitude was, "If I don't do something, others are going to die," Rodriguez said. He knew what kind of danger he was exposing himself to. Thank you.
Good evening. As we perform the Armed Forces, the Pride of America, we ask all veterans and those who are potentially active military to please stand as you hear your service branch tune. Thank you. The United States Army. Marines. From the walls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the United States Navy. Anchors away, my boys, anchors away. Farewell to college joys, we sail at break of day, 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 day. Our last night on shore, drink to the
The United States Coast Guard. The United States Air Force.
Off we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come to meet our thunder, and the boys give her the gun. Down the dikes, ready to flame from under, off on guns, terrible wars. We live in fame, oh, down in flame. Ain't nothing will stop the U.S. Air Force.
Another round of applause for our young musicians. As you can imagine, there are many people who made this program possible this evening. Many thanks to Brad Parsons, our veteran guest speaker, the Honorable Mayor Mark Kaczynski, student presenters Tamara Almozani, Nico Coops, Terrence Dornfried, Grace Foster, Owen Holland, Avery Simolan, Kevin Cordoval, Lucia Maurice Corsetti, and Anusha Hashim. The production crew of this wonderful program, the Berlin High School administration, Jeff Kronk, our social studies department supervisor, Dr. David Basso, the Rho Kappa Social Studies Honor Society, the Rho Kappa Social Studies Honor Society members, Amanda Zybrands and Craig Labadia, McGee School teachers, Berlin High School office and custodial staff, Nick Smith, our media director, Kara Jalot, our producer, veterans Sean Solek, Christopher Griffin, and Jesse Eady, Berlin High School students Terrence Dornfried, Cameron Malcarney, Trista May, and Gianna Kokomo, Debbie Batista, Executive Secretary, Chris Dresko and the Berlin High School Band, Tyler Boyle and the Berlin High School Choral Singers, Corinne Terlecki and the McGee School Sound Express, Sheil Patel, Upbeat Director and Upbeat Student Ushers, Tina Doyle, Director of the Berlin Senior Citizens Center, Marlene Bradshaw, Music Teacher at McGee School, Brierly Johnson, Florist in Kensington, Wendy Rawlings, our Food Services Director, Heather Verricchio, the Cook Manager, and BHS Food Service staff. Many thanks to all of them. And most importantly, thank you to all of the honored veterans, both here today and those who could not be with us or who are at home watching. It was our privilege to say thank you, to let you know that we appreciate you for your service and honor you for your sacrifices. The price of freedom is high. We cannot afford to forget those willing to pay it. So for our veterans that are here today, join me in thanking them again for keeping the nation the land of the free and the home of the brave. Thank you. And at this time, Tamara El-Mozani is going to close our program.
This concludes our program. We want to thank everyone again for attending, and those watching at home. Have a wonderful evening, and please drive home safely. Thank you.